Sloppy Lab, bottom of the Beaker episode number 21. I am here with none other than the entrepreneur who markets his own drawing salve. This Quick Draw 3457. Get those splinters out in 3 minutes or less.
I like it. Happy New Year, JT. It's good to be back in 2023 now.
Happy New Year indeed. Yes, yeah. New year, new hat, new pin. I don't know. New things. New set, hopefully
Lots.
soon.
Yeah, well, hopefully soon. Still unclear on that, but we are going to talk about the new set tonight, which is exciting for me. I got to kind of look at the cards again that have been spoiled, refresh my memory on them, what's the right way to put it? Kind of just tie us over for a bit until the set does officially launch. So we're hoping to kind of build some hype a little bit. Give you guys some hot takes on Winds of Exchange from the Sloppy Lab. Hopefully, get some agreement and disagreement from the viewers. I know you and I are going to have some agreements and disagreements here as well. Got a
Mhm.
sneak peek at those. So, some lively debate. But I think first, I just want to say happy 21st to Bottom of the Beaker. Is that right?
Happy 21st to bottom of the Beaker, and that's a notable milestone, at least here in the U.S. Yes.
Yeah.
So cheers.
Cheers. We can now drink.
Yeah, yeah. We're maybe not renting any cars yet, or at least
No,
not.
4 more weeks and Sloppy and Bottom of the Beaker can rent a car, but we're not quite there yet.
Is it that you can't rent a car, or is it that you get really hammered on the insurance? I never remember.
I rented a car in college when I was under 25, but I think it was had to go through like the university
Okay.
employer, and so I don't think I could have done it without like a 25 or older sponsor.
Okay. So
And
you're like
that's
a
probably just
co-signer,
an
as it were.
American thing. Yeah, kind of like that. I bet you all of our international viewers like have no idea what we're talking about. Like, why can't you rent a car until you're 25? It's pretty weird.
That's pretty weird. Yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know. I got nothing.
We like these milestones. Like I think at our age we are running out of milestone birthdays, so we're gonna start celebrating the bottom of the beaker milestones, and we'll
Oh
find
yeah.
some other excuses to celebrate as well.
Yeah, the milestone birthdays are long gone. Or I mean, now I'm taking off decades. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I can now officially run for president as of a couple of years ago, I think, and so after that, I don't think there's anything to look forward to.
Oh wow, I don't actually know what the date is, or the age is for presidential, being able to
Well,
run
I
for
guess
president.
I didn't give away my age then, did I?
Not to me, but to some of our more less sloppy listeners, perhaps.
Yeah, Floximal Sloppy Drunk Lab Work is almost accurate.
Hmm.
I usually drink tea. I don't know if anyone notices. I usually drink a nice cup of hot tea. But tonight, celebrating, it's my favorite beer. So
Oh, well,
thanks for
tell us.
watching, Floximal.
Well, tell us what is this? What is your favorite beer? I know you're a bit of a beer head. Is that the term? Or
I wouldn't call myself that. I am not sponsored in any way by this brewery tonight.
hmm
Just going to get that out of the way, but I will show what I'm drinking. It's a Trogs Dreamweaver. It's a wheat beer from Pennsylvania. I'm a huge fan of German beers in general, and this is similar to a German Hefeweizen. So, big fan. Lots of great flavor. Good wheat beer.
very good. Well, appreciate the Freudian slip in the chat from Floxamal. We here in Maine enjoy not only our beer but our bears. You're all just as likely to run into one as the other. But
Yeah,
I
this is not the ABR podcast, though.
not
This
the
is Sloppy
ABR
Lab Work.
podcast. Yes.
Yes.
Different type of bear, actual bear. Yeah, keep your trash cans inside or something. I don't know.
Bring your
Yeah,
bear spray.
yeah. But I don't know. I have not been partaking very often of late in the latter years. So this could end up being a very sloppy
Oh yeah,
sloppy
let's do it.
episode indeed. Hmm.
Have
But
an
I
extra one
have
next to you so we can get the hot takes flowing.
I do. So I am right now working on this Scotch, this Port Charlotte, heavily peated uh, Scotch, but also have this. Um, oh boy, I'm blanking on the name. Uh, Very nice bottle of Blanton's that arrived over Christmas that I've been gonna dig into at some point. and probably take me years to get through. So we'll see.
So you're double fisting is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right. Cannot wait to hear the second half of the show takes. It's going to
Yeah.
get sloppier and sloppier as the night goes on.
Yeah.
But we have a good one. We have some interesting takes here that are like directly against each other on this set. So that's going to make it really exciting. Adds a lot of stakes, I think, for like 6 months from now when one of us
Hmm.
is going to be objectively right and one's going to be objectively wrong. Um, Probably going to be me on the wrong side, but that's the fun in this one. We get to kind of like throw these opinions out there and just see what lands. Um, I first thought about doing this topic because I remember the Game Found had said that January was the original expected delivery date for the US for Winds of Exchange. So I've been like getting myself hyped up. And then I started looking around. There was a post on Reddit that was kind of talking about like when is the delivery date actually happening. And I decided to just go straight to the source. I messaged Ghost Galaxy today, got a very swift response from Jeremy, as always. They're fantastic. However, the news wasn't as fantastic. They said that they weren't able to change that date in the Game Found campaign after the campaign started. So that
Oh.
date in there for January in the US, February for I think the rest of the world, is unfortunately not accurate. So what they said in the FAQ of the Game Found was that they would commit to shipping within 6 months or less from the end of the campaign, which was, I believe, in early December. So we could still be looking at a lengthy wait, but I'm hopeful that we can talk about it a bit tonight, and other content creators out there are going to be talking about it more and kind of keep the excitement going, give you guys something to look forward to.
Yeah. 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 Bit of a bummer there. I guess I missed the update, or I don't know. I had in my mind an earlier date as well. Um,
Hmm.
so
Yeah, sorry to burst everyone's bubble tonight with that. I wouldn't call it news, but I did get like an update directly from them, and they don't have any dates. I didn't ask for anything specific like that, but
mhm.
um, I do not believe it is imminent. So
The silver lining, of course, is hats off to them for the, you know, communication, keeping those channels open, getting back to you. I
yeah,
mean, it's not long ago where that would not have gotten any sort of reply at all.
could you imagine sending a question about KeyForge to the former company that ran the game and getting a response within about like 6 hours? Like,
I think that would be a flight of fancy.
yeah, I think it might be. So, who wants to give the first hot take? Do we want to throw our teammate Gveld under the bus, who gave us some hot takes that I don't think he fully understood we were going to share them on air, or do we want to kind of start with one of us?
The Kveld ones might be nice palate cleansers because we can both rag on them. And then I have to also say too that I have my hot takes, but one of my hot takes, the worst one, actually came from Crusader. So I nestled that in there, but I'm not going to tell you which one. It's the one that's going to be
Awesome.
wrong, you know?
Of course, and you're not going to say which one it is until it's wrong, until one of
Yes.
them is wrong, and then you're gonna be like,
Yes.
that's your escape route. You can say like, oh, that wrong one, that was definitely Crusaders.
Yeah, I'm taking plausible deniability on all of them, and of course the catch is that all the right ones probably came from Not Tonight, right?
It's probably true. That's where you get all your good material, right?
And I'll sit right in the middle. That works for me. Yeah.
Awesome. Why don't you
Yep.
kick us off then?
Okay.
What's your first hot take you got here for Winds of Exchange?
So so a lot of excitement around Equidon, and I don't want to pull from that. But my hot take is that it's not going to be an Archon solo kind of competitive top tier house. So I do not think we're going to see lots of Equidon at the top tables of those Archon events.
Just
Even
throwing water on that fire.
just throwing water on that fire. Even, and I'm going to go a step further. I stand behind that for sort of a vault tour where it's bring decks from any set. I'm going to stand behind that a woe only Archon vault tour. I don't think you're going to see Equid on the top tables.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny you say that because my first hot take is that Equidon will be featured in 75% of the top cut decks for Winds of Exchange only Archon events. I think when this is the sixth set, and so if we're talking about like across all sets, like Vault Tour Top Cut, it's pretty hard to put a percentage on like a new house in that because you have all these great decks from old sets. But for Winds of Exchange only, I think Equidon is going to dominate. I think
Hmm.
the house has it all. Like going through it, it literally has every single arc stat represented in some of its cards, and it's just really mind blowing to me. Like some of the cards in there that have great efficiency, some of them have steal, some of them have just lots of ways to gain amber. Like the what's the artifact that you can't discard with like six bonus ambers, six enhance ambers on it.
Is it the cursed relic one?
Yeah, Cursed Relic, like something
Hmm.
like that. Like there's so many ways to just burst in that house. Like I just love what this house does top to bottom, and I think it just adds so many things that other houses in this set don't have. Whenever Dis and Logos are no longer around, and Untamed and Shadows as well. Like this does a lot of what all of those houses, like the void they left, is all kind of thrown into Equidon. So I think it's gonna be very powerful. But I will also say that because it does have like all of those different elements, it does have somewhat of an identity crisis. And I think it might be a little bit hard to find a like really synergistic Equidon house because you might have some stuff that wants you to discard, and you might have some stuff that wants you to capture or steal, and like it may not have the full synergy that we could see from like a lot of the other houses that are kind of centered on one theme. But I think the overall value for Equidon is just massive, and I think it's going to be running the top tables for Winds of Exchange.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. I don't know.
So this is Crusader's take, right? Is that what you're going to say next?
It is yet to be seen. It is yet to be seen. But I don't know. I look at some of the things that folks have been excited about. Um, the bait and switch kind of reboot, mass buyout. I don't know. I look at those and feel like they're all nigh unplayable. Um, the the one token prospector does look interesting,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Destroy, draw a card.
yeah. So I see you flocks them all. I think there's some cool things that are going to happen there. I I want to see it. I want to see it. So you gave a number. I respect that. 75%. I'm gonna say that if we see a Winds of Exchange only Archon Vault Tour of some sort, or high level competitive event of some sort, whether run by Ghost Galaxy or not, that it will top out at 25% of the top eight of the top
All right.
cut decks.
So we are perfectly overlapping in the
Yes,
percentages.
you're complimentary
Um,
and at odds. I don't know.
I like it. Ketzer in the chat says my hot take is that DT decks will beat the dog water out of Windex. DT best set. Hard to disagree with that. Um, I love DT as everyone knows. It does have like this weird place in the meta where it just wins in matchups like against decks that you think are like so good and so much like have such an advantage. And Dark Tidings seems to fill this weird spot in a lot of ways. Similar to AOA in that like you can have some decks that look a little unassuming, and then all of a sudden you're losing to all these random cards and interactions. So I do think DT might be able to push its weight around a little bit against Winds of Exchange. Um, I'm not ready to take that DT will be beating it up too bad, but I I love the fire there, Ketzer. I love the enthusiasm for Dark Tidings. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I do really like Equidon in sealed or for formats that are like adaptive or Newton or Tesla. I feel like these are going to be really great places where Equidon shines. Lots of interesting decision points. I don't know. I guess my worry is that they're going to be a lot of modal cards is not the right word, but there are a lot of these sort of trade offs where I don't know. I feel like you're going to end up with your back against the wall on a decision and not be able to take the upside for the downside. Um,
Yeah,
and I could be wrong.
you
There are
know,
some yeah.
yeah, from a design perspective, I love that. I love those decisions that are double-sided like that. We've
Hmm.
talked a lot about double-sided artifacts, and they're kind of similar in that you have to make a decision about what is best for you, and you're presented with two options. Sometimes it's like discard this card, or maybe it's like destroy a friendly creature to steal two, which I think is usually a no-brainer with generous offer. Like mass buyout as a board wipe is a common. Destroy each creature. Each player gains amber equal to half the number of creatures they controlled that were destroyed that way, rounded up. So like these are really powerful effects. There's no chains on that on mass buyout. Um, but you're giving away amber, you're gaining some amber. These kind of decisions I think are the complexity that Keyforge really thrives on. I love it.
So mass buyout's an interesting one because I think this is an extreme one, but kind of illustrates the point. Um, it feels like when it's good, it's a win more, and when it's bad, uh, I don't know. When you really need that board wipe, you're also
Mhm.
giving up a windfall to the opponent, right? It's kind of like
Yeah,
bad or win more. I don't know. That's my
yeah.
that's my my worry.
I will say I could be falling for the same trap I fell for in Dark Tidings with this one because first time I saw Final Analysis, I completely fell in love with it,
Yeah.
and then I played with it a few games, and I was like, oh, I should probably never play this card. And so you could be right. It does have some similarities there to Final Analysis.
We'll see though. There's potential. What I really do love about it, and I don't want this to come off as a knock because a lot of what Equidon is doing really speaks to the Johnny combo gamer in me that wants to build the crazy machines and pull off these these fun combos and highly synergistic lines. So I'm very excited to see if it works, and very hopeful that I'm not right. But I'm putting a stake in the ground for the sake of hot takes here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was. I'm trying to look through the cards now, and I thought there was another like pseudo board wipe in Equidon, but I could be mistaken. Um, it just when I was going through it, it just has so many different effects. Like it, it has artifact control, like hard R, where you just give them one amber to purge an artifact. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it has so many answers to things that you thought might be missing once Logos and Untamed are gone. And so I just really like that about it. It seems very versatile. But like I was saying too, like on the other hand, it might be harder to find like a fully synergistic Equidon house. So I think it's going to be super powerful though. I'm very excited. I would love to get one of those uh, error boxes that have 12 Equidon decks in it. I think that'd be totally fine with me.
Yep.
Be very happy.
Yeah. I would be happy with this as well. And I have to take another look. Equidon has the only hard artifact removal, or only at common? Do you happen to remember off the top of your head? I don't
I,
have
I
that.
I don't remember off the top of my head. It's the only one that stuck out to me. It's auction off. It gains a pip, Persian artifact. Its controller gains one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's the only one I can remember. There was definitely some other things that like return all artifacts to everyone's hand.
Yeah, there's the
There's
Gorm
a
of
Gorm
everything.
in
Yeah.
Sanctum. Yeah, Gorm of everything is a good way to put it. Um, there's a few others. Nothing though. I don't think. Yeah, I'm probably wrong on this, but I don't think there's anything that's like direct action, destroy an artifact,
Yep. Yep.
like there is in Equidon.
Mm, well, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, having sole claim to the hard R, even only the hard R at common is a feather in its cap, and I am nothing if not a fan of feathers in caps. So,
You say that with a feather in your cap.
with a literal feather in my cap,
There
perhaps.
you go. If someone in the chat hears us make a mistake about like no other hard R or something like that, just correct us. And we're not,
Hmm.
we're throwing ourselves out here tonight with these hot takes, so we're gonna say a bunch of wrong things. Um, so I don't mind being called out for being wrong.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
all right, can I go to number two that I have on my list, and
Yes,
then you can kind
please.
of give the counter punch because this is another one. Well, these ones aren't really like against each other, but mine is actually kind of related to the previous one. Antiquities Dealer. I think this might be my favorite card in the set. I think it's going to be the chase rare of the entire set. I believe what I've heard, and hopefully nothing changes in the algorithm because this is a super cool idea. Um, the Antiquities Dealer, I believe, comes with two Legacy Maverick artifacts in every deck. It is a creature, 3 power, action, gain 2 if you control at least one artifact. So since it is Equidon, which hasn't been featured yet, it comes with two legacy artifacts, but because they're Equidon, they are Legacy Maverick. And so I can just imagine some insane possibilities with this, like getting a Legacy Maverick autoencoder or like Curiosaurus or something crazy and fun like that. Like the possibilities with the Antiquities dealer, I think, are going to be massive, and I think everyone's going to be looking for those.
Oh, absolutely. I love this card. If if I get one of those all Equidon boxes, I want every single one of those to have one of these in it. I mean, yeah, send me your Heart of the Forest Legacy Maverick decks, please, please and thank you.
Uh, you had to go there. I mean, you named like the one artifact that I would not be cool with.
I mean, I thought we were here for the hot takes. I don't know.
We are, yeah, we are. That's going to be a fun one though. I can't wait to see the possibilities when these decks get registered.
Yeah, and what a card that's just perfectly in the spirit of Keyforge too. Like bring some chaos, bring some extra uh, unique bringer. I guess bring the unique bringer. I don't know,
Yeah,
but we'll make for some really interesting lineups. We'll enable some really wacky and fun things.
yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
kind of felt like there's never been enough Legacy and Maverick cards. Like the rate that they appear in, I think, is just slightly lower than I would like. I
Hmm.
like that little bit of chaos. I don't think they break the game at all, and I just think they're fun, And the more we can get those, the better. So I'm really excited to see what this does.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's right. I mean, I don't know. I wonder if they were limited so much to prevent keep the shenanigan meter from going too high, or to kind of make them feel special when they do show up. I think they could have dialed it up a little bit, especially on the Maverick side, um,
Yeah,
and not really lost that like, ooh, I got a Maverick feeling. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, most of the time when I get one, it's a little disappointing. Like either it's like either not a very good one or it's just not in a good deck and it doesn't really have the synergy. So like, it's pretty hard to break with those. Like, obviously you can get some more unforeseen combos that way, but
Hmm.
for the most part, they're not synergistic across house. So um, this will be cool to see. I'm excited to see this.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to look at my Maverick Phosphorus Stars in the deck with no Mars to really see
Uh,
the power ceiling of
yeah,
those
that's
Mavericks. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been getting a lot of legacies lately. I did get a pretty cool one, a legacy Kirby's Blaster,
Ooh,
which obviously comes with Com Officer Kirby.
very cool.
Pretty cool, but the
Hmm.
deck's not that good, so you know, feels a little wasted.
A little wasted. I do have. Speaking of Kirby's, I do have a Maverick subject Kirby deck. Um, in a deck that also has Starlines.
Yeah, that's like a legacy, or it's like a Maverick Phase Shift. It's like
Like a
or a
Maverick
Maverick
face
Helper
shift.
Bot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not quite as exciting, but
Like, yeah, but ooh,
yeah,
fun.
Maverick Fandangle. That's the dream.
That is the dream. They're out there. They're out
They
there.
are. There's a number out there. That's a cool one though.
Hmm.
You have a card here. I wouldn't call it necessarily your favorite, but one that you called out as
Yeah,
what you
I
were
see
looking forward
this.
to.
I see this one. I was excited for it. It caught my eye, and the card is Future Booster. I'm going to pull it up here for folks who are watching, and it does not have steel in its text, so I should clear that. So the card is Future Booster, an artifact. It has a pip and an Omni ability that says, look at the top card of your deck. You may put it on the bottom of your deck. So I'm calling this out as a sleeper that's going to go very underrated. I actually have Star Alliance as one of my picks for best houses in the set, um, primarily due to some of their efficiency at common. And this card is common. I don't know actually if it's a true common or will be a restricted one. So multiples of this in a deck feels a little silly, or feels like there's potential for some really heavy filtering.
Mm.
But I think with some of the other top of library tricks that Store Alliance is trying to do, the fact that this is an Omni, I think puts it above. I'm going to say puts it above Library of the Damned by a decent margin, um, but below autoencoder. Clearly, uh,
Clearly, we
clearly,
love our autoencoder.
clearly.
Um, I wish that this worked for either player. I wish it was an Omni that would let you look at the opponent's deck and put on the bottom if you wanted.
Mm.
Um, I mean, it's a great card as is. I'm not saying that it's not. It's very cool, and the Omni, as you pointed out, is a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's some other cards I think in Star Alliance, but also in other houses that involve you discarding the top card of a deck, and if it matches a
Yep.
creature on table, then you do something. Um, but a lot of them are like discard the top card of opponent's deck. Like there is a creature I saw, I want to say in Sarian. Um, I'll have to look it up, but it was like discard the top card of either player's deck, and or you choose a creature first, and then you discard the top card of that owner's deck. And if it
Hmm.
matches, you destroy the creature. And if it does not, then that owner gains one. So it's definitely some gambling involved there, a little randomness. And something like that doesn't have the synergy with the future booster that I would kind of like to see. I think that'd be pretty cool to have those kind of synergies. Um, there's not a ton of stuff that I could see that peaks at the top card of your opponent's deck, um, in this set at least.
Yeah, that information would push it up a notch, and I don't think it would have made it too crazy. I mean, even with that, I think you're still looking at a card that's less than Autovac, say, um, which was, I don't know, for all intents and purposes, an upgrade on Library of the Damned, right? Um,
Hmm. I always
yeah,
saw the Autovac as like a combination of Library of the Damned and Lash of Broken Dreams.
yeah, trying to be kind of the spiritual combination of those. Um,
I
yeah,
think it's
very cool card.
somehow better than both.
Somehow better than both, perhaps by virtue of being in logos.
Yeah, maybe that's it. A lot of
um,
synergy there.
a lot of synergy there. But I mean, I don't know. There are going to be little things too, like you're going to peek the card before committing it to a token. I don't know how often you're going to say like, maybe I'm not going to make this token. You probably still pretty much always make the token, unless it's your one out. You know,
Mm.
um, but I think just the fact that it's an Omni is going to really boost it in power level. Um, is it going
I
to
think,
be crazy crushing good? No, but
yeah,
I think it's going to surprise some folks at how useful it ends up being.
I hope it does come in multiples, like of at least two, maybe three,
Hmm.
because you could really, if you get them early, try to stack a single house on the bottom of your deck.
Hmm.
There's also the outposts, which you take a creature from your side of the board and you put it in the bottom of your deck for a benefit. If you get outposts and you get things like the future booster, you could try to like stack all of a single house in the bottom of your deck, so that by the time you get to the bottom half, you're just like running into like all Star Alliance or all Brobnar all at once, and just have some hyper efficient turns at the end like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think the name of the card is a nod to exactly that. I mean, sure, there's the near future, what I'm about to draw, but there's also what I'm going to see at when I
Yeah,
get to the bottom of the deck as well,
yeah.
and stacking that is
And
going
there's
to
a
be
ton of
really cool.
value to just seeing that card and leaving it there. You know, like you don't
Hmm.
have to move it to the bottom to stack a single house for benefit, knowing that like your next card is going to be like a massive piece of creature control, or it belongs to a certain house that you were planning on calling anyway. Like having that certainty of your next turn is also a boost of the future, not just the distant future, but the immediate future.
Yeah. So I mean, let's say you play this turn one, play a 10 turn game. By turn, I don't know, 7 or 8, if you're paying attention and you use this every turn and always decide to put in the bottom, you maybe know the last, what did I say, 8 or 7 cards in the deck, and kind of have perfect knowledge of what you're going to be drawing into and can really plan out those final 2 turns.
Hmm.
I don't know. Interesting.
Could
Uh,
be a lot of skill to set that up.
could be. Could
Is
be.
that a card you would mulligan for?
It's not a card I'd mulligan for, but it's probably an artifact I would be not unhappy to see in the opener. I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting too because it's a pretty low impact late in the game, right? The later in the game you play it, the lesser its value. I mean, and sure, you could say the same for Library of the Damned or even Auto Vocoder, and they're still fine cards in their own right. But it has a pip that has that going for it. It's always gonna give you that
Yeah.
money. Yeah,
It's never a negative value if it has a pip and doesn't do anything bad to you.
yeah. Minimum arc one. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Um, all right. So the third take here, these ones are not quite as opposed. But do you want to go for yours first? I think I actually agree with this one.
Oh yeah. Um, so this one I put in a little bit tongue in cheek. And I kind of phrase it as so, despite the additional elbow room that we're all going to be getting as sort of a nod to some social distancing measures, you're still going to be bumping battle lines with the person sitting to your left and right. Um, so I don't know. Start searching out those decks with the red alerts and the Quintrino fluxes now on the secondary market, right? Um, but yeah, there'll be going to be some Y battle lines. I don't know if this is a hot take per se. Maybe the hot take is that we may see a whole bunch of board wipes in the sets to come when
Mm.
GG realizes how wide these battle lines are getting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
Buy the
guess.
extra wide playmats.
Yeah, I do agree with this take. I actually already find that the standard size playmats are not big enough before this set, and I think it's probably going to be a bit worse. But I,
Hmm.
I will riff on this one, and I will throw another hot take out here that I think Winds of Exchange is going to hurt older set decks that lack C even more than Mass Mutation did. I feel like when
Mm-hmm.
Mass Mutation came out, you needed board wipes, or you were going to lose to those high value creatures that came out. And I think Winds of Exchange might make that worse. And it's not just the tokens either. Like there's a lot of ways to put out a number of creatures in this set in addition to tokens, and I think it just really is going to increase the importance of creature control even more than it already happened with Mass Mutation. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing overall. But there are a few drawbacks to Winds of Exchange. Like you might have these big boards, and you might have a house like Equidon that can do a lot of different things. One thing I saw very little of is scaling Amber Control, just like in Mass Mutation. There's a Brobnar card, I think it's the only one I can remember, and it's an amazing card, but I think it's the only one. So there's certainly some weaknesses in Winds of Exchange, but the size of your board is not one of them, and I think that's going to cause a lot of problems for previous sets.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Interesting to see the pendulum move around. Um, I do think we're going to see some decks trying to go really wide. The lack of the scaling amber control is notable, and I think we'll see some interesting tension there though between these big board decks and the let's let's to point fingers say some of the Coda decks that avoided board control for the sake of extra pips. And there's a race, which is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
There is one Sanctum card that I like in particular, and I think it is kind of a good answer to those Coda Rush type decks that don't care about a board. They just want to throw out pips. And that is Heavy Subsidies. It is a rare artifact. Comes with a pip. Keys cost +6 amber, and each creature gains after reap gain 1. So, you're talking about having a big board, and this is a card that will essentially punish your opponent for not having as big a board as you, and it comes in a set that wants to have big boards already. So heavy subsidies, I think, could really harm those decks that are like just spamming pips and not worrying about reaping because all of a sudden your keys are going to cost double if you don't reap. But if I'm going to be reaping a lot already, it's almost like an even sum game for me right there.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, you've got to be mindful of the TMTPs and cutthroat researches and such. Um,
Yeah.
but otherwise, yeah, zero sum on kind of the deck with a plan to reap for all of its amber. Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good call. Unlike the TMTPs, like that, heavy subsidies maybe is a discard against a TMTP deck, just because you're going to be giving them at some point 6 amber. Um, Almost nothing you can do about it except have an anti-steal card out. But I'm not sure. I don't think I saw any anti-steal cards necessarily.
Even one TMTP, right? Like if all of your keys cost +6, if I've given you, if I give you 6, I'm I'm kind of giving you a free pass on your first key
Hmm.
under heavy subsidy. But maybe for keys 2 and 3 you're still struggling. I don't know. Interesting.
It will
Interesting.
be interesting. Yeah, it's a cool card though.
Cool card.
Um, all right, so I got another one here. Saurian in Winds of Exchange. I am sad to report. I think this is going to be the second coming of Worlds Collide Brobnar. I was just thoroughly unimpressed going through this list of cards. Um, a lot of it was like kind of relying on multi-card combos to do anything, and
Hmm.
even then the benefits aren't great. It really felt like for other houses, the reprints that came back were all like the greatest hits. Like if you look at the Mars reprints, there's some insane Mars cards here. Like you're not going to see the Jenka stuff, but you do see like the Resonator, which is a fantastic card. You do see Hypnotic Command, which is just really truly insane.
Hmm.
You see a lot of these great cards coming back. Grabber Jammer, I think, was in here. Destroy Them All. Oh, that's some hard R. Destroy Them All. We missed that one. So there's like a lot of these great cards coming back in other sets, other houses. But Saurian, I'm looking at some of the reprints, and it's like Eclectic Ambrosius, City Gates, like Hastatus Raptor. This stuff
Ooh,
is
love the
not
Raptor.
really exciting, and a lot of the stuff like the Raptors come in multiples, so like bad card comes in multiples, and then you have the philosophers here. I'm not sure if these philosophers are really going to ever do anything. You really need all three of them to do anything interesting, and just a little bit of targeted C, and they're gone, and that's like three cards in your deck that don't do a whole lot. They're just bodies. Um, Training costs. It is a action that cannot be discarded except through card abilities. And if you play it, you lose two. And if you don't, you shuffle it back into your deck. And that comes with the Bellatoran Warrior token, which is a 5 power, 2 armor token.
Hmm.
So like a good token, but at the expense of having like these dead cards. And it just feels like Saurian has so many dead cards um, that it just I'm not excited about this. And I think the biggest downfall for Saurian in the set is that there is no way that I could see to very easily remove captured or exalted amber. There's no Ludo like there used to be. Medicus Lacus was like a decent way of doing it. There is a Brachus, but he's rare. There's no
Hmm.
Curiosaurus, much to the chagrin of our entire team. So I really worry about that. Like so many of their benefits are like exalt this or capture this and do these things if you have amber. But then as soon as that creature's destroyed, your opponent gets a windfall there. So I think Saurian, unfortunately, is going to be pretty bad this set.
I I think I do agree with you on that one. I, yeah, yeah. I don't know if I'd go so bad as, although I have come to um, beloved Worlds Collide Brobner. I hope I can say the same for the Saurians here. I don't know, but I think
There's
they,
yeah,
yeah.
there's
Hmm.
some fun stuff from Worlds Collide Brobnar. Like you can have certain packages and certain decks, but I don't. There's almost I would say one Archon tier Worlds Collide Brobnar deck, and I think we all know what that is. It's Caruso. And if you don't have Caruso, you do not have an Archon competitive Worlds Collide Brobnar deck. Um, Floximal said that there is one interesting card from Saurian, which was Epic Poem.
Hmm.
Let me pull up Epic Poem real quick. Um,
So that's an action. It says play, exalt a friendly creature, gain one amber for each amber on that creature.
yeah, it's a good card, I would say, but it is a nice rush. But as soon as that creature's gone, your opponent is going to gain the exact same number of amber. Um, Maybe you have a lot of capture and you do that, but I think a lot of the effects in this set for Saurian are exalt. So I think that might also be a zero sum game between the players. But I do agree, Epic Poem is a pretty good card there.
Yeah, interesting. And in a lot of ways, this Saurian almost feels like it's it's kind of living the initial promise of the Exalt downsides. I mean,
Yeah,
we saw Exalt kind of spoiled in when Worlds Collide was on the horizon, and it's like, ooh, this is going to be this really interesting tension. Like, do I want to put the amber on the creature or not? And there were so many ways of getting off that amber safely, um, that it was just almost always yes, right? So if there's one kind of thing, I will say that for Saurian in World Winds of Exchange, maybe it's that becomes more of an interesting decision point now than it has been before.
yeah. I do agree that it's design wise, it's a bit better. I think they're still on the weak side, but yeah, I
Hmm.
did not like the design of Saurian and Worlds Collide, like you said. Um, this is probably more closer to the sweet spot that they wanted, but I would still say quite underpowered.
Yeah, I think Luda would have been fine. would have been fine
Hmm.
here. I mean,
I
I
think
don't
so
know if I
too.
would have wanted Ludo, Curia, and Six Semper. Say, I think we would have seen Six Semper with Epic Poem, and people would have grumbled. Um,
Mm, yeah. Curia, I think, would probably fit best among all those. I
yeah.
would have loved to have seen Curia. I know people hate it for the complexity and the difficult interactions that it has, but I think it's the most fair of any of the Saurian cards that make Amber disappear or go in your favor. I think it adds a lot of strategy, tons of skill, and I just think it's more fair than you have Ludo with like, you have someone like a Deosilus that has 15 Amber on it, and then you just kill your own Deosilus and that Amber's gone.
Hmm.
Like nothing to it. So I definitely prefer Curiosaurus for that reason.
Curiosaurus would have been an interesting choice too, with all the tokens running around. You can see battle lines going a lot wider, things swapping back and forth a lot more. Yeah, yeah. I think you've won me over there. I think Ludo would have been okay. I think Curiosaurus would have been more interesting and probably even a better choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's too bad. So those are our main ones. And we each also came up with a house ranking, which
Hmm.
I also found this very interesting, the way that we ranked these.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know how should we do it to uh, build the most drama. Should we go bottom to top, or should we? You want to just give all yours?
Let's just give them all.
Okay.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go?
I will go first, and I'll remind folks that this may or may not be the one that Crusader provided. I'm including this along among the cloud of
He doesn't watch
uncertainty.
the show anyway, so
Yeah. So my house ranking goes as follows. I'll go bottom to top. Bottom to top. In the final position, I have Saurian. Above that, Sanctum. Then Equidon, Mars, Unfathomable, Brobnar, and at the tippity top, Star Alliance. So, for
wow.
those who were thrown off by, uh, for those who are thrown off by the bottom to top reading, I'll go through once more quickly. Star Alliance, Brobnar, Unfathomable, Mars, Equidon, Sanctum, Saurian. In that order, from
Wow.
JT Russell. Ship it. Put your bets
Star
in.
Alliance at the top. I'm most shocked by Equidon at 5 in
Mm-hmm.
your ranking. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, don't you see the value in like almost every single card in that house?
I
I
mean,
mean, it's almost not possible to be ranked that low.
did I stutter? I
No, but you did quote Crusader, so
yeah.
um,
Although,
I think there's a couple other ones in there that I agree with. Um, Star Alliance at the top very much surprises me. Can you talk
interesting.
about why you like Star Alliance so much?
I really like their suite of commons. I think they offer the highest ceiling in terms of efficiency. Um, I'm gonna pull up their tokens as well. I don't think they had my favorite set of tokens, but I did not mind them. Yeah, a lot of
The
really low
Emberling.
bindings.
I love the Emberling.
So you love the Emberling. Interesting.
I do. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's your
I think
favorite.
it's I think that's my favorite. Yeah.
It's sort of the toad of of tokens.
That's
So
fine. That's fine. I mean, it's essentially comes on the board, and if it survives, it's like it reaped its first turn.
mm-hmm.
Like if you can make a bunch of those in one turn, you're checking, and they have to answer your board in order to take you off check, which might really disrupt their game plan. I think it's a very strong token. I think it's definitely the best of these four.
Ooh, the best of these four. I was kind of teasing a little bit. I do like the Emberling. I don't know if I had decided that I thought it was best, um, best of the four. And Murph here. Hey Murph, how's it going? In the chat, saying that Star Alliance looks like it could be an amazing enabler house, and I 100% kind of get behind that sentiment. I don't know that it's going to be the most powerful house, but I'm looking at their commons. I think they have the tools to be showing up in most of the top decks, if that makes any sense. So it might not be like, well, they won because of all these, I don't know, the Amberling Swarm. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. But I think the efficiency that gets offered from the Star Alliance Common Suite is going to be great. Um,
I think
Yeah.
they nailed the theme of the house. I love that it's about cooperating across houses. I think they just really nailed it. There's even a card called Teamwork. Um, I think in that regard, thematically, it's very cool. My worry with it is kind of similar to what happened in Dark Tidings, where they have a ton of cards that'll let you cheat across houses, but you need a board to survive to do that. And I think with the focus on higher C due to these wider boards, I just have a feeling that Star Alliance is going to end up a lot of times with creatures that will be pretty good if they survive. They
Hmm.
probably won't survive, but even if they did, they're not doing anything game breaking, in my opinion. Like using an extra creature per turn, like is nice efficiency, like you say, like both in regards to using the cards and also just kind of getting value out of them. But I don't think it's good enough to me to be like something that I would want to see in if I had to pick three houses.
Okay. Well, we shall see. Well,
So
let's hear yours. Yeah.
yeah, so I'll start with what I agree with from the bottom. Sarian at number 7 and Sanctum number 6. Wasn't super blown away by anything in Sanctum. It seemed okay. We both agree though that we have those in the bottom two slots. For my fifth, I have Star Alliance, which you had in the top. 4, I have Mars. 3, Brobnar. 2, Unfathomable, and 1, Equidon. So again, from the top down is Equidon, Unfathomable, Brobnar, Mars, Star Alliance, Sanctum, Saurian. So we definitely we swapped our Equidon and Star, which is super interesting. Um, I've talked enough about Equidon already, so we can kind of skip that one. But Unfathomable just has so much value as well, and really oppressive effects. There's like 3 different actions that Unfathomable has that are kind of trying to replicate the Control the Weak.
Hmm.
Befuddle might be the best of the bunch, and it's a common. Comes with a pip. Play choose a house on your opponent's identity card. During their next turn, they cannot play cards of other houses. So you're essentially limiting them to a single house if they want to play anything. If you can handle their board before you play that, then you can ensure that they're really not doing a whole lot of anything on their next turn with Befuddle, which I think is more than you can say for Illusions of Grandeur, which I also love. But Illusions gives them the option, gives them an out, but it's still a very good card, and that's reprinted as well. And then, of course, or not of course, the third one, which I didn't know about until tonight, is called Watch Your Step. Not quite as good as the others, but choose a house on your opponent's identity card. If they do not choose that house as their active house during their next turn, make 2 token creatures and ready them, and that comes with a pip. So pretty solid as well, like the pip value from the start, but it's also giving your opponent a decision to like go into a house maybe they don't want to go into if they can't handle your tokens. So those 3 different ways to do that, all pretty good. I know a lot of people looking into spoilers love Abyssal Sight, which is another action with a pip, destroy a friendly creature. If you do, look at your opponent's hand and choose a card from it. That player discards that card is a truly insane effect. Um, it's not quite lateral shift good because you're not playing it, but like having the ability to remove one of your opponent's answers is just incredibly strong, and that's a common card as well, which is
Hmm.
nuts. I mean, they could chain themselves all game with a board wipe or a TMTP, and you just play the Abyssal Sight, and it's gone, like just like that. It's um, pretty powerful. So I really think Unfathomable has a lot of stuff like that. You had them at 3, so we're pretty close, I think, on our value of that. I have Brobnar at 3. Just tons of good value creatures, lots of creature control in that house. I think, again, they nailed the theme of Brobnar here. Encourage you to fight without really like giving up your ways of making amber. So just really nice. And Mars is my number 4, where I talked a lot about a lot of the reprints they brought back that I think were like some of their greatest hits. Ether Spider was what someone mentioned in the chat as well, was another great card that came back. And I like a lot of the new cards they've added for Mars as well. So I think they're
Hmm.
a pretty solid house.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. And to be fair, my top three I was very close on. I loved all the cards you mentioned. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I think Kamalani is going to be a sleeper in support of a lot of the destroy your own dudes things that Unfathomable is doing. That's the 4 power creature. When destroyed, it makes 2 token creatures. Going to be very cool. I love the targeted discard and I mean, not even getting to some of the rares, which are very cool to see as well.
Oh,
Which
does
wow,
Corrode as well? Another hard R.
yep, yeah,
So
Corrode
there's a
is
little bit,
excellent.
but Corrode is a very good card. But as a rare, it's I wish it was an uncommon, but I understand. It's a very good card. Um, can we talk about Bryozoark for a second?
Well, perhaps we should shift gears to to Kveld's hot takes,
Yeah,
perhaps.
let's do that. So Caveld came out like guns a blazing. You know, we asked our team for some hot takes they had, and he was ready. He, I don't know if he knows that we're sharing these on air, but you know that's what hot takes are for. Um, he did not think the set was going to be as competitive as it seems the general feel is, due to high variance. My gut is that it's probably going to be the second strongest set. So I'm kind of in line with the public thinking, I think, according to Caveld here, and he thinks it's going to disappoint. How do you feel?
Ooh, the second strongest set. So you're thinking I could see it end up being in contention for second strongest set. I think it's going to depend a lot on how the efficiency story plays out.
Hmm. He mentions the high variance.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's talking about the efficiency like you are, but I think the variance does, like I mentioned with Equidon, like there's so many things it's trying to do that it might be hard to find a synergistic house with it. You might be getting good value, but you may not be always getting something that's like all working together for you. So maybe there could be some things like that that he's referring to.
Hmm. And Murph in the chat asking if it will unseat Worlds Collide as the second strongest set. Perhaps tongue in cheek, perhaps serious question. I don't know. In my estimation, Worlds Collide might be. We could maybe punch a little higher.
You're saying that you don't think Worlds Collide is very good?
No, I think it is good. I think that the top end ceiling for it is good. So it's always interesting when
Hmm.
you're talking about parallels of these sets. You know, are we talking about the 0.1% outlier decks
Right.
that set produces? You know, are we talking about on average? I mean, uh, I would love for it. As much as I love the things that some of the other sets are doing, it's hard to argue that Mass Mutation probably isn't the number one seed um, in terms of power
Hmm.
level, either an average or the top end outliers. I think Worlds Collide produces some very strong top end outliers, but also has some very overrated decks um,
Hmm.
and some very common holes in the supposed top end decks. Now that being said, there are some very strong decks for sure that come
Sure.
out of Worlds Collide. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good, like you said, to separate out. Like, are we talking about the top tier, like the top 0.1%, or in general? And I'm a known Worlds Collide hater. Um,
Yes.
I think too many decks that I see from Worlds Collide that are like 85, 90 SAS have like a 4.2 creature control, and they have no answers for boards. And I see that too much with Worlds Collide, even in the higher rated decks. It's so hard to find those like perfect Saurian packages that you dream of. I know people have them, but you shouldn't get a box of Worlds Collide expecting to get like a great Saurian Star Alliance deck because they're so hard to come by. If I had to say, um, yeah, it looks like Fudgenator agrees on the Worlds Collide being overrated. So that's the consensus of everyone watching and presenting on bottom of the beaker tonight. I like to hear that. Um, I don't know what I would pick for the second best set though, if not for that one. Like if we're talking about the top 0.1%, I might go AOA. AOA just has some truly insane stuff at the top end. And like I was talking earlier about the weirdness factor of it, like it just fits in a weird place in the meta that can do certain things and attack otherwise very powerful decks in a way that others don't. Um, but like I know some insanely powerful Dark Tidings decks as well that um, like I think possibly the best deck I've ever seen in my life is a Dark Tidings deck.
You're thinking
So
of
it's hard for me
Enchantress
to
Ollie.
Enchantress
Yes.
Ollie, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to think that like if you're talking about the absolute top tier of a set, it's hard for me to discount Dark Tidings from that either. And I'm not even trying to be biased. Enchantress Ollie won the Vault Keeper event with had I think it had like 70 players, and it was only Mass Mutation and Dark Tidings, and it was no limitations whatsoever. And now in stereo, borrowed Enchantress Ollie from one of our friends and just cleaned up with it. And every time I see that deck perform, it's just It's truly oppressive. Look it up, Enchantress Ollie, Olly. But like, I think of that deck when I think of top tier Dark Tidings, which makes me, consider Dark Tidings at least for the top end being right up there. Got a little sidetracked gushing over Worlds Collide here for a second. We're talking about Caveld's hot takes, aren't we?
Uh-huh. Caveldu probably is a reasonably reasonable fan of Worlds Collide, um, but not here to defend themselves. So take that tangent, Caveld. This is what you get for
Yeah,
sleeping during the episode.
I know this time zone's like to kill you.
Yep.
All right, his second hot take. Let's see here if I can. It's not going to be that interesting if you wanted to run away from Dis Logos decks. It's just going to be Star Alliance and Unfathomable. So
Hmm.
I think we might be looking forward to the set being a total change of pace with like new houses, new things. And I guess he's trying to say here that it's going to be the same things, but just hidden in Star Alliance and Unfathomable as opposed to Logos and Dis.
So there may be some truth to that. I mean, it's unfathomable picking up a decent amount of disruption for sure. Um, I mean, and there's some notes here that line with my thoughts on Star Alliance getting the logos efficiency for sure. I'm inclined to agree with the sentiment. I think we'll see how it plays out though. I think a lot of like how that efficiency, how impactful those efficiency packages end up being, and how relevant those disruption packages end up being are gonna be really make or break in terms of how good these decks are at the top tables. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I would probably agree with him too. I think those two houses do a pretty good job of filling that void. So it may not be as different as we anticipate. Number three, it's going to be the most boring set up with mass mutation after the initial glamour wears off and only token spam with disruption remains. I kind of agree that mass mutation's pretty boring.
Whew.
Um, it does have a lot of interesting strategy involved with it, but it's still a lot of just like play creature value, do good things. You know, um, it's an improvement on the previous sets, but nothing reaches the pinnacle of Dark Tidings, except maybe Winds of Exchange. But
We
I
shall
disagree
see.
with him here that it's going to be boring. I think there's tons of depth to this set.
Yeah. I think my biggest knock on mass mutations was that it went a little too far on the enhancements. Um, and there are some decks where you're like, it's like 20 blue cards, and you're trying to figure out what their outs are in a given situation, trying to figure out like where they're going to go on like the next 3 turns, and it's like they could burst or take me off check by 5 or damage, kill anything in any house. It's just like I don't know. They're I don't know. It maybe eroded the house identity a little bit more than I would have liked, and I don't know that does that kind of make it more boring in some sense. In some sense, probably. I like having some flavor to my houses.
Data Forge Stream, getting into the action, calling these hot mess takes. I like it. Well, we're in the second half of the show now, and we've been drinking the entire show for the 21st birthday of Bottom of the Beaker. So
Yep.
that sounds like a success then, Data Forge Stream. If we've approached hot mess territory, then all is going well for us tonight.
Yeah, Zoc, you can have as many enhancements you want on 3 cards.
Uh, there was one more take that Kveld had, and that's kind of why you transitioned this. And he insisted this was not a hot take, but I was like, nope, I'm making this a hot take. He said, not really a hot take, but what were they thinking when designing Bryozoarch? So Bryozoarch is the unfathomable rare creature, 6 power. When your opponent plays an action card, instead of resolving its play effect, destroy the creature on your left flank. Pretty cool card. Pretty oppressive. Um, I don't think that this is as bad as he thinks it is. I cannot wait to be proven wrong and have this card be incredible. Um, it's just another really good card in Unfathomable. Um, what are your takes on it?
I'm with Murph on this one. This card feels not okay to me. I will love playing it every time. Um, ah, so some scenarios, right? It feels roughly as impactful as Restringuntress as an endgame closer. Well, let's see. You're not going to be able to shut them out of a house if their answer is on board, right? But if you have any sort of battle line, I don't know, you're kind of turning off all outs from hand. Save creatures with play effects. That feels pretty rough. If you have any sort of warding and out of house, oof, it's gonna get real gnarly. Get real
You
gnarly real
mentioned,
fast.
you guys mentioned earlier having a legacy encounter suit.
Oh,
Just
that's the dream.
put that on your left flank and just
Yeah,
oh, that would be terrible. I would hate that. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. Browzoark, excuse me, with Prospector as a token. Oof, that sounds really spicy. Really spicy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, It's a rare, so I mean, to be seen if the stars are going to line. I believe there will be some really nasty Browzoark decks. I think you're always going to groan and scramble for an answer when it comes down. You know that the first turn Browzoark is going to be game over for plenty of decks. Oh, that's not first turn. That's silly. First turn on the draw with two other creatures. Maybe that's asking for a lot.
So
Uh,
if you go second and you get
yes.
two other creatures with it, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how much token generation you have, how much protection you can do for Bryozoark. Also, if they have any targeted C, they just I guess the targeted C won't work. But if you have like there's some creatures that can do some damage, like Numquid the Fair has been reprinted. Numquid the
Hmm.
Fair could destroy it. Um, there are some ways, maybe not many. Um, we'll see. I'm not as afraid of this as I think everyone else is, but it's definitely a super strong card.
So let's see. On the spectrum of Restringuntus, um, Chronophage, what else do we have? Kelp? Am I confusing
Calp
Kelp?
probably. Calp could be near the bottom. I would say this is more oppressive than Chronophage. Definitely less oppressive than Guntus.
Okay, so between Chronophage and Guntus, interesting. I mean, Chronophage walks away with games. Um,
I
yeah.
don't know if I've seen that happen. I mean, it's very easy to kill. It's pretty rare that you can like hide it behind a taunt. There's like virtually no taunt in Logos. I think Captain Corsage might be the only thing I can think of in Dark Tidings. So you kind of need to set it up from a few turns before with like another taunt. I have a few cool Chronophage decks that I like, and the most I've ever had that thing stick for is 2 turns, and
Hmm.
it didn't win the game, but it did help.
My absolute favorite Chronophage deck, and we're going into okay. The stars kind of aligned here. Um, features Omnipus. So it is very fun to nestle up your Chronophage to a line of tentacles and and see how long it takes them to bash through. And the answer
Yeah,
is often not before the end of the game. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one. I've always been looking for a Chronophage and Countersuit deck. But the problem is that you need to be able to play both of them on the same turn. So you need like either a phase shift or a together. But you also kind of need a taunt with them too. So it's like, we could be getting into alliance discussion here if we're talking about like how do we find the best
Mm.
Chronophage mashup that you can. But even then, like you need to get dealt with all the pieces, and it's just one of those things that's like really cool to think about for alliance until you realize like, oh, someone's just going to win the game on turn 3 anyway, so it doesn't matter. Data Forge stream. All these oppressive witches have impressive names: Restringuntus, Chronophage, Bryozark. That's fair. That's a good observation. That's why Kaup or Kaupe is probably not included in the list. The name is not oppressive enough.
Not impressive enough, but confusing. Kelp or Kelpe? I don't know.
I think I've always said Kaupe, and then I've heard some other people saying Kaup. We could do an entire episode on how do you pronounce this card.
Yeah, we're gonna need my brother and some of our Polish teammates for that one. I think.
Yes. Yeah, we can. end it with like, how do you pronounce this Polish deck? And you and I will just stumble over every single consonant that's in there.
There'll be when we turn 21 again. I don't know. That'll be the drinking game. Pronounce this deck. Yeah. Oh yeah. I did open one double chronophage deck, and was summarily disappointed by the rest of the deck. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's too
yeah,
bad.
the protection's always the trick for sure.
It is. Yeah. Um, I think we're out of hot takes, unless you have any up your sleeve still.
I am fresh out. Fresh out.
Yeah. Um, this is the time of the show when we would normally play a Winds of Exchange match, but that's unfortunately not possible still. Um, so I think as a substitute, we talked about doing a little random access archives, show off the Sloppy Lab Work tool. How's that sound to you?
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Do you got any sign off for the folks in audio land?
No, just stay sloppy, everyone,
Very good.
and happy 21st birthday.
Yes, indeed. Cheers to the bottom of the beaker. All right. So I'm going to pull up the random access archives.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up as well. Why don't we say, like, I was thinking earlier, like low 70s,
Okay.
73 to 75, we can say, just to have a little bit of variance. 72 to 75,
Sure.
and any set you want, or you just want to do random?
What was that? You say 72 to 75?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. I'm not showing my screen with you, but folks are seeing my 80 to 89 range.
No, I didn't get that joke. Do you want to play any set, or do you have a set in mind? What are you in the mood for?
I'm down for whatever. Down for whatever.
All
Keep
right,
it any
I'll do
set.
any. Yeah. And then I would love to play with hidden deck lists.
Okay. Okay.
Have some extra surprises up our sleeves. Ooh, this is a cool one. I haven't played this one in a while. This is one that I used to think this was one of my top decks, so I'm actually kind of excited to play this one again. It just had some normal Worlds Collide problems, but it's a pretty cool deck. So this will be this will be a good one.
Interesting. I pulled an interesting deck, a very interesting deck, and I'm almost tempted by honor to ask if I should re-roll, but I feel like the fates have spoken, and we have to
Play
go
it.
with it. Yeah.
I don't want to know. Let's see if I have this one in. I do have it in here. 8-4 record in TCO with this one. That's pretty solid.
8-4.
Kind of impressed.
All right, making new
All
game.
right.
It's about to be 8-5. Let's see. Password sloppy. Oh wait, no wait. New game.
Oh, you're gone. Or you want to hide the deck lists?
Yeah. Who made this
Yeah.
game? All right. Deck lists are hidden. Deck lists are hidden.
Still waiting for one of these days for somebody to join the game before me.
I
Uh,
bet it's gonna be Crusader.
I'm gonna say Fudgenator. I think he's gonna swoop in there one of these days.
Nice. All right.
All right.
Well,
Good luck. Have fun.
good luck. Have fun.
I gotta remember what is in this deck. I used to love it. I used to play it quite a lot in person. And it's been a very long time.
This is a suspect keep, but I have nothing if not suspect.
You have my favorite house combo.
Yeah. How can you say no? We're gonna play 3 cards on this first turn. It's gonna be great.
I guess I will. Don't love it, but I'll keep it and go with that guy.
Sanitation engineer. Let's go. All right. I'm going Logos. Going to play a Eureka and a
Uh oh.
Brain Eater. Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess that's going to make me go into Star Alliance instead then.
Ooh, very cool.
Get a word out there for you.
That is interesting.
I used to take, I still do actually. I take a lot of notes in Decks of Keyforge in the notes section, and I actually have some notes on this one so I can remind myself what I am doing here.
I have a lot of notes on this one, but I'm going to share them with you after. Very cryptic. All right, so I'm gonna play Persistence Hunting and exhaust those Star Alliance duders. Let's also play Deepwater Gruin. And
Oh,
speaking
geez,
of
all this
Gruin,
time I thought I was up against AOA.
yeah, speaking of Gruin, we're Gruin our Brain Eater. Let's go.
All right. That's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I will go Logos here. Play a Pocket Universe, Discombobulator, Info Exchange to steal one, and then Reap to capture one, and discard a card. What's that gonna be? I think I'll discard the Odoak.
Bye, Odoak. Yeah, yeah, not surprised at what I'm seeing there. The info exchange makes me sad. Makes me sad.
Yeah, you wanted to forge, huh?
I kind of did. I kind of did. Now I have to worry about your graphs and other nonsense, you know? But this is a hidden deck list, you know? So
I
I'm not
like the
going
twist that that's having. Like having you play around something that I definitely don't have in my deck.
to. Naturally. Nor your hand, I'm sure.
Mm-mm. It's certainly not in my hand. Yeah, we know that.
Clearly. Clearly. All right, so Light of the Archon's coming down on this Gruin. Book of Leku. Lek. And a Valmart. I'm going to get back this Gruin with Unity or Discord. All right,
Mm,
we don't have to tie it anyway, so there's no sense in driving up your key costs for funsies. But back to 7. Back to 7. Let's
okay.
see what we got.
Yeah, I can do something about that. All right, so you got DT, you got
Maybe.
Untamed, so you could have Artifact Control. So probably not going to be using the Pocket Universe. Probably not. Let's go to Star. Um, gonna play a First Officer Frayne.
The dude
And
over
let's
there
put that
capturing my
one.
amber.
A lot of capture here. We'll go with the Garcia as well. Gonna Reap and ward the Garcia. And let's Reap with the Ishii as well.
Hmm. Awkward. Hmm. 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 I mean, how can I resist? How can I resist this play? Let's go for another Eureka. And then the clouds opened up, and God said, "Screw you, JT."
That's the problem with Eureka. I wonder what you could have archived that you're so angry about.
All right, all
Okay.
right.
All right. So there goes Frayne. Um, that's pretty cute that you think you're going to forge this turn.
I
Maybe
will
you will
forge
actually.
one of these turns. One of these turns I will.
Ooh, don't you hope so? Um, yeah, let's do this. So let's go back in here. I'm going to put a disruption field on Ingram,
Hmm.
and let's just reap a bit. Going to ward itself. And let's see here. You got a 4. I'm not going to be able to kill you there, so let's just reap again. Make you take the tide and go into star, if that's what you want to do. Sounds good.
Yeah, seems pretty good.
That's a nice worded board I have here.
Indeed. Indeed. Hmm. Okay. Unfortunate. How many dice do we roll? Oof. Loving the commentary in the chat. Mm-hmm.
I'm missing the commentary, so I don't see your hand. So you'll have to fill
Ah.
me in on all the witty things that Fudginator is saying.
So Data Forge stream. Check actually, yeah, check out Zoc and Data Forge. And well, Zoc is Data Forge, and also the Final Swindle folks. For folks who have not, we should have plugged y'all earlier. I apologize. Twitch.tv/DataForge stream and the Final Swindle, Dust Chronicles. Or if you're at your own Fudginator and also Dust Chronicles. Am I getting that right?
I think
Off
it's
the top of my
Swindle
head.
Dust Chronicles is the
Swindle Dust
channel.
Chronicles. Mm-hmm. Well, the people have spoken, and they say roll all the dice. I don't know if that's really a great Swindle Dust Chronicles, indeed, and at his own right on. All right, so first one of these. I mean, this feels too greedy. Too greedy, though, and for so little gain.
Do it. Just do it. Crusader would do it.
You've just convinced me out of doing it. You may forge for 9. And I absolutely should have done it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh, see, Crusader would have won then. Crusader would be in great shape.
That would have been just bananas right there. Yeah.
So I think I'm okay with you forging for 7 here and playing some cards. I feel like that's good. I could go back into Star and make you pay. Oh no, you wouldn't even forge.
Mm-mm.
I don't want to do that. I want you to forge. I like the one tax I'm getting here. I'm going to take the win. Go into Saurian. Start with a Chant of Hubris. Move one of these off of Ingram, and let's put it on Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
we are going to Axiom of Grisk.
Whew.
Get rid of all of those pesky creatures you had there.
Pesky
Play out
indeed.
a Dilophosaurus and a Legatus Raptor, and get to draw some cards. That feels good.
Okay, this is feeling grim. This is feeling grim indeed.
After all that trash we talked on World Collide today, and all that pumping up of Dark Tidings we did.
You know, I have. It would have been actually really interesting to see some certain cards show up earlier and throw wrenches in your plans. But we're living our lives here. We're not worrying about the what ifs. I'm gonna go into Untamed, since I blame myself as well. Or if I blame myself as well. All right, so we're gonna get some burst here.
Yep.
Let's do that one. Let's ready and reap.
Very nice.
Let's grow it. And that's it for the moment.
Okay, so you've got 7. Current key cost is 7.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, let a guy forge. God, I need those keys.
No, there's literally no way you're gonna forge this turn. Sorry. Just a question of how I want to stop you. I think I'm probably gonna opt to play a few more cards from Saurian, get some efficiency here. Um, so let's do that. So first bring out the Tribune Pompeitus. That is going to be trouble for you if you don't have a board wipe.
Did you say
Play the.
Pompeitis?
That's what I said.
I think that deserves a drink.
Cheers to Pompeitus.
Cheers. Speaking of cheers, um, I've always wondered what's in Zock's cup on the Dataforge stream. It's
Oh,
like,
I've always wanted the same. Is it
yeah,
tea or is it whiskey?
let's see. It's a very pleasing amber color generally, sometimes with a reddish tint. Don't think I don't notice, Zock. So I always wondered, yeah, tea or whiskey. We have to wonder.
Okay, card archive. That seems probably wise to do that one. To hand, we'll have that one, and we'll discard the Molina. All right.
Ooh, maraschino other church. So Zock saying it is an old fashioned typically. Oh, very nice.
Ah, wonderful. You have great taste, Data Force
Yeah,
Stream.
yeah, maraschino cherries. I hope those are Luxardo cherries, Zock. Yes, please. All right. Let's see. Um, Very good. Promises to share some of this old-fashioned knowledge when we meet up in person. Oversweet.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's
interesting.
sounds wonderful.
That's fair.
Oversweet. No, I don't like my old fashioned very sweet,
Hmm.
but we can still appreciate each other's taste in whiskey.
The chat here is really goading me into this low reward, low risk, low reward gamble. Um,
Always activate the book.
Live by the book, die by the book. Is that the rule?
Always. Why are you even playing it if you're not going to use it?
Yeah, I guess the super gamble play here would be taking my out of house archives.
It's not
But I
too
mean,
late.
the thing is too though. So this is actually kind of interesting, right? Like, if I play out a bunch of Star Alliance and then whiff with the book, like I'm not redrawn anyway. I don't know. And then, do I need it though? That's the thing. Feels really feels really suspect. Dang. Uh, that's just too greedy.
Do it.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
All right.
Yes.
All right. We're doing it.
Yes.
All right. So we're playing this Ulfbert device,
Ooh.
which is
All
going to be very
right.
fun. We're going to gack. The gack attack is coming.
Okay.
And which dino to leave? I think I'm actually going to leave the Pompatus, interestingly enough.
Okay.
And you can keep Yushi for now. I'm going to play Gak number 2.
Oh, very nice. I was
Yeah.
thinking, like, well, I'm cool with this because I have all these wards, but
Yep. And then I'm going to activate the book and show you a Logos card. No, not a Logos
hmm,
card, but
it's okay though.
I will take this one.
You'll take it. Yeah, you will.
Yeah. So you went Dinos last turn. I am actually going to fight into the Yushi here.
Okay.
And call that a day. Call that a day.
That's a very good day right there, I would say.
You've been waiting for that graph though. Let's see it. You can hold it all
That would
game.
be so beautiful, wouldn't it? Boy, do I have a graft in here? No, I don't. Um, let's see here. So I am going to drop this automaton and a hapsis, and let's see what the wild wormhole does for us.
Okay.
Paraguardian. Okay, could have been better. Um, tough call here. I think let's just. I don't know if I can afford to let you. I know you have logos because you just very vocally wished for logos. So I don't know if I have to fight that guy yet. But
I've been known to bluff.
yeah, I'm not buying that one. Oof, that's tough. All right, I'm gonna rape and discard a Frane's Blaster, and yeah, I'm not gonna use that Pocket Universe. Just not feeling that.
Okay. A blue key for me. I will take it. And now things are getting very interesting. So you just went Logos.
This is what they call a pickle.
It is a pickle. I feel like I really don't like that sanitation engineer. Yep. This would be such a waste, though. And then you can go Saurian next turn. Hmm. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight Saurian cards played. I know. The chat's saying it's just a shame that I can't go back into Starlines again just for the gambling.
Mm.
I kind of want to go Logos here. This feels really bad. It's like anti-hand sculpting, but okay. And I'm also not going to get any steel value from this info exchange. I'm going to play it anyway just for the funsies.
Yeah, you got to play it.
Yeah.
Never discard cards like that. Just play them. You never know when a bug is going to work in your favor.
There you go. So I get to check with this pip from a Hydro Cataloger, and I'm going to play an Armadrone on the right here. Set up some wards with my infighting that's surely coming, right?
Yeah, I wish I'd have been smart enough to think about infighting all game. A little too sloppy for that tonight. All right, so let's can't go back into logos, so you can't. I don't have to worry about the Armadrone yet. So let's go star. I will not take the archives.
Yeah.
Let's put a nice quadricorder on that automaton. I hope you can kill it. And let's just play a Xeno training. And let's just put that on the automaton. What do you say?
Hmm.
This is my favorite thing about this deck is just putting some amber on that automaton.
Yeah. Is this the time to use it? I feel like I have to give the people what they want. So let's go. All right, we're getting this Ritual of Balance. So cool. Yeah, I think I'm done holding this word of returning.
Ooh. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, reap here, and also going to get a nice out of house fight with the
Oh,
Armadrone,
that's really nice.
and make sure I don't fight and die. Yeah. Yeah, no real high value things. We'll just fight here. Yeah, you can get your Paraguardian wards. You don't really.
You know that
Okay.
you get skirmish with that
Oh,
Armadrone, right?
stealing. The stealing got me again.
Ah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to hurt you though. I did not draw the card I needed to take you off here, and that Word of Returning was just massive. Really, really massive Word of Returning. Um, uh, yeah,
I
this is
would
going to be the
have.
best I can do.
Yeah, I would have felt better about it if you couldn't go into Saurian again this turn. But here we are.
There's a Cutthroat for some value at least. Um, the Hapsis is going to just fight just to draw a dead out. And yep, it is in the bottom, so I'm going to get it. I know that. Um, and I will use the Pocket Universe, but GG. I
GG.
really hope 2023 was going to be a new year with losing to you, but guess not. I had a tribute coming, and the Word of Returning was especially brutal because the Tribune Pompeitus made the automaton my highest power creature, and I could have tributed another 4 on it. And I had a Ludo coming too, but well played.
Hmm.
Um, Dark Tidings wins again, as we all know.
Dark Tidings wins again. Yeah, I had to, I mean I had to assume there was a tribute or something else coming, and the chat's laughing at me because I had been chaining myself most of the game with that word returning. Like there was at
Hey,
least yeah.
that was the difference. That was a great chain. Don't listen to the chat. Um, that was a great hold with all that capturing that you saw already.
Hmm. Yeah, no regrets, no regrets. I think it was yeah, yeah.
Uh, Murph, I definitely did not think that at no point. Maybe early in the game, when I had that nice board out, and I was thinking maybe he doesn't have a GAC or anything like that. Maybe I'm okay, but no. As we all know, Dark Tidings beats Worlds Collide. So
So let's see this deck that you're playing. I feel like I may should recognize it. Um,
I don't think you would. I think this was actually like my pre-sloppy lab work days. Let me send you a
mm,
link to it real quick. Really haven't played it in a very long time. It kind of it's just the classic Worlds Collide low creature control, like we talked about earlier. It does have an axiom, but that's like kind of it. I archived a red alert, and obviously that game with the board sizes, I was never going to use that.
mhm.
But that's like pretty much all of its creature control outside of a couple blasters. Um, but I used to have some pretty good success with it just from capturing on the automaton and just having it stay there. Obviously, things like Nature's Call, Lights Out, Word of Returning can hurt it, but if they don't have that stuff, then it can be pretty brutal how much amber you can capture on that thing. And you put it with the quadricorder, give it some blasters, so it's it can be pretty good.
Yeah, very
Uh,
cool.
and you're playing Wolf the Electric, which I don't think I've ever seen.
Wolf the Electric, which was actually featured on the bottom of the beaker that was one of the few that you missed.
Oh, how about that?
Yes, this was my deck for the double-sided artifact Ulfbert device.
Oh, very
Uh,
nice.
yeah.
I there's two Alphabet devices in there just for the
Mm-hmm.
consistency. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I did catch a little bit of that episode. I remember I I have a great Ultimate device deck, as you know, Guadalupe. Fudgenator is very familiar with that one as well. So very cool artifact. Cool deck. Wolf the Electric. Lots of expected amber. And that 29 there, I think, showed itself that game.
Hmm. Yeah, this was a cool deck in that it was a secondary market purchase, and I guess plug for an upcoming episode. We're going to be talking secondary market things. I'm gonna maybe a hot take, send out a survey to folks. So if you're able and willing, please do respond when it comes out the next day or two. Um, yeah, just kind of curious to get some additional perspectives on how folks think about the secondary market, and we'll share our thoughts on a future episode. But this was a secondary market purchase. It kind of came about as sort of a concept piece. I was looking for high expected amber, lots of pips, Ulpert device deck, with the idea being that you could have some house cheating and just kind of play pips from hand and slow folks down who are trying to really utilize a board. Um,
Hmm.
it works out
Yeah,
pretty
only 10
well.
creatures. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a low creature count. That's pretty nice.
Hmm. But fun, fun
Yeah,
times,
that was a good
fun
game.
times.
I'm glad I got to play Micro Warp again. It's been a while, so I'll just link that one in the chat as well for people that were curious. Um, yeah, it's nice. Random access archives success right there. Going back into the archives to find something fun.
Hmm. Hmm. Ooh, and folks are interested. This one is available on the secondary market. We should say, yeah.
I guess it is. Yeah. I guess I played it enough back then. So yeah, you can have it for the low price of probably $5.
Wow, that is interesting. Yeah, but we'll maybe save our pricing strategies for that
Yeah,
episode too.
yeah,
Yeah, didn't do a great job selling it. It ran into a an Achilles heel type card. You know, you're not going to see those words of returning every day, and when you do, you're going to probably have non-hidden deck lists. So I wonder as
yeah,
well if I don't know, deck lists were revealed. You may have used, say, the Chant of Hubris differently. You would have been getting value out of the Pocket Universe, right?
yeah. I would have been getting a little bit of value, but I don't think it would have made a big difference in the Pocket universe. You have no amber control anyway, so
No, no.
um, I don't think it would have changed the outcome having the decks open. It just made it more fun when they were closed like that.
Yeah,
Um, and I don't think Word of Returning is even like the worst Achilles heel. Like I think a Lights Out or Nature's Call would be way worse.
yeah,
Because I kept the quadricorder there and still couldn't take you off check with a cutthroat research. So you know, um, it's just there's too many Achilles heels when you think about all the bounce that's out there in the game. Um, it just kind of makes that strategy of leaning into your automaton and piling amber on it kind of not as viable as it used to be.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of foreshadowing future episodes, I think it'll be really fun to do a recap on our current NKFL season selections. What you just said sort of had, had resonant notes with some of the deck changes that I made, um,
Hmm.
which I don't need to go into much into now. We're going
Yeah.
long, so yeah, pretty good
Well, I can't wait to hear about that then.
indeed. And I'm looking
If
forward
you're
to
if you're
getting your retrospective after your first season. So yeah, welcome to
yeah,
NKFL.
this is my first NKFL season. Decks are due tomorrow. I already submitted mine, settled on them thanks to some of your input and from the rest of the team. I feel pretty good about it. I'm excited to play it out. My first match is going to be against a teammate and Crusader, so um, it'll be a fun season. I'm definitely looking forward to it and learning more about it.
I think you know which deck you have to ban.
I will not be banning Naysayer. No, he can play his three mimicries against me all he wants.
Yep, yep.
So, yeah, I think he and I are going to play this weekend. So, we'll both be getting our first NKFL match in, and it'll be against each other. So that'd be good.
Ooh. Maybe you all can stream that one. That would be fun.
Maybe we can. I don't really have an excuse, so the pressure's on now.
Pressure's
I like the
on.
peer pressure. Peer
All
pressure
right.
helps.
Right on, right on. Okay, well, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for folks for joining us in the lab this evening. Good times as always. And yeah, thank you, Quick Draw. Anything parting words for us here?
No, maybe in 2024 I'll beat you in a game on stream again.
We have to get if when we meet in upcoming leagues, we always have to stream the matches. It's the rule.
No, no, I think I'm going to refuse from now on.
Very good. All
All
right,
right,
y'all.
thanks for watching, everybody.